Most men aspiring to a career in enforcement have pictured themselves as the key figure in the investigation of an involved crime. In their starring role as a present-day Sherlock Holmes, they amaze and astound with brilliant deductions from meager clues, tracking down the criminal with the greatest of ease. But the serious student of law enforcement must soon recognize a couple of rather sobering truths. Many of the cases he will handle as a peace officer will lack the drama of the murder scene. He also learns that skill as an investigator is developed in applying the knowledge he acquires in the classroom to the wide variety of assignments he will encounter in the field. His training must provide him with enough basic knowledge so that he may go on an assignment and begin or handle a proper investigation with or without assistance and following established legal procedures. So it's back to fundamentals. During the period of his training, the officer may be impressed with the complexity of the work he has chosen. In his class on the elements of investigation, there seem to be a million things to learn. However, these well-defined elements, these established procedures, will in one form or another apply in every case he may be called upon to handle as a peace officer. Let's consider these so-called elements. First, evaluating the report. How was the complaint received? An excited victim may be confused and offer incorrect information. He may be misunderstood by the officer to whom he made his complaint. The assigned officer's evaluation begins with the moment he receives the preliminary report and actually continues until the investigation is concluded. Arriving at the scene of the reported offense, the officer must first determine whether a crime has actually been committed. He evaluates the statements of the complainant and witnesses who may be prejudiced, biased, and emotionally disturbed. He may discover that there was no criminal act or that the report was completely fictitious. If the officer's evaluation of the facts indicates a specific prosecutable criminal offense, those facts will guide the course of his investigation. Employing his physical senses in an evaluation of the offense and the persons involved, he will proceed with the action which will lead to the solution of the crime. He will learn if an immediate arrest is to be made, if he must give chase to the criminal or transmit to his headquarters information concerning a suspect. In every case, the officer evaluates the initial report, statements of witnesses, the scene of the offense, and, with technical assistance, physical evidence gathered at the scene. The next element of investigation may be labeled the crime scene. Having established that a criminal offense has in fact been committed, the officer must decide specifically what crime. Was it trespassing, theft, or burglary? He will determine the answers to the basic questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how, and then proceed to gather facts and evidence. The officer must protect the scene from possible disturbance from any number of causes. By clearing the area and posting barriers and guards where necessary, he preserves the evidence from curious spectators unthinking witnesses and victims, or persons seeking to conceal a crime or discredit the police. The experienced officer knows that the crime scene must be reproduced for the court exactly as it existed. Finally, the officer may begin his detailed inspection of the crime scene. When photographs and sketches are required, these are obtained before a search is begun, in order that there will be a permanent record of the scene as it existed. The method of search will be determined by the nature of the offense, the physical circumstances, and the availability of manpower. In any case, the search should be systematic and thorough. Now, a third element of investigation, evidence. Evidence, of course, is essential to a prosecution. In any type of investigation, it must be properly obtained, identified, and handled. In a search for physical evidence, the officers should proceed cautiously, with an awareness of the purpose of their search. One officer will supervise the operation. One officer will handle all evidence. As evidence is discovered, note should be made of its exact location, by whom it was found, how it was collected, marked, and packaged, and to whom it was delivered. A sketch and a photograph will further identify the evidence in its proper relation to the crime scene. Throughout his investigation, the officer will record the facts essential to the preparation of his written report. A court appearance should be considered as the probable result of every investigation. His notes will be the record from which the officer will testify. Marking the evidence provides a means of positively identifying a particular item at a future time, if the mark is distinctive, legible, and properly applied. Evidence, according to its nature, may be packaged in envelopes, bottles, or boxes, then carefully sealed and specifically identified. In every case, it must be handled with care, so that from the moment it is lifted at the scene until it has served its particular purpose, it may be protected from contamination. The police agency may have its own facilities for the examination of physical evidence. In such case, the problems of transportation to the laboratory are reduced. Where it is necessary to later ship the evidence to a lab, great care must be taken in the wrapping and packaging of the individual items. In storing evidence, the officer should consider any special requirements for its preservation. It should be stored in such a manner that there will be no question as to the chain of possession. In his discussion of the elements of investigation, the instructor attempts to build a framework of information on which the student may build. In future lectures and courses of a specialized nature, detailed information will be offered to fully supplement the basic instruction. The investigator may obtain from witnesses information which is of extreme value in the development of his case. And so we come to another of the elemental tasks of the investigator. The witness to an offense may be a disinterested third party with no connection to the crime, or he may be related to the victim or other persons involved. In any case, he should be properly identified and approached in a manner which will encourage his cooperation. The officer's attitude should be professional and objective. Statements should be obtained under the most favorable conditions the situation will permit. Separated from distractions and the influence of other people, the witness may offer valuable assistance. Witnesses may be located in the routine neighborhood canvass, a door-to-door inquiry in the area of the offense. A delivery man or newsboy may supply information which will aid materially in effecting a successful conclusion to the investigation. And so in every case, in one form or another, we have the application of these elements of investigation. Evaluating the report, protecting and examining the crime scene, collecting, identifying, and preserving evidence, and the questioning of witnesses. By observing these elements in each case to which he is assigned, the officer is better equipped to achieve the purpose, the ultimate goal of his investigation, the apprehension and successful prosecution of the offender.